Good morning. I hope you enjoyed last night that you didn't have any homework. Today we're going to go for the first time going into the program for our math textbook this year that does the practice. Now I'm kind of excited about this because a lot of times in the past kids would do their homework and they'd turn their paper in and I would grade it that night that they turn it in and give it back to them the next day. And so it's like a whole day later before they know if they're doing the math correctly or not. And so what I'm excited about with this program is every math problem you do at the end of the assignment, when you submit it, it will tell you which ones you missed and how you did. And so it's really kind of nice that you get instant results. The other thing that you're going to see with this program is if you get stuck on a math problem, there are hints that can help you. I hope you have your notes out to kind of help you, that you don't have to use those hints. And then the other thing I'm excited about, and we'll see how it goes because I haven't experienced this yet. I need some kids to kind of come and do some assignments so that we can figure it out on our side and start collecting some data. And so see how it all comes together here. But within a week or two, we should be pretty good at this. And so here's how you do your homework for the rest of this year. So what we're going to do is, your canvas is going to look a little bit different than mine, but you kind of got an idea on how your canvas works. And so you're going to click on My Course, and then you're going to go to your modules. My modules might be a mess here still because this is still before school and I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. So I'm going to close some of these guys up. We're already past week 1. We're already past week 2. And I think we'd be on group 3. So on Tuesday, which is today, you're going to kind of see something like this. You're going to see a Math Excel for School practice problems. And there's a very good chance you'll also see this Savvy Adapt practice. Now, if you're a normal kid, and most of you are, you're always going to do this one, practice problem solving. Okay? Now, if you have like accommodations that says, you know what, you're not supposed to do as many problems as the other kids, that you do fewer problems, and you'll know who you are because we've had meetings. So when you do that, you're going to ignore this one if you have that kind of qualification, and you're always going to do the Savvy Adapt practice. Okay? They're similar problems, they just don't have as many. Okay? So I'll review that again. Math Excel for everybody, like almost everybody. But if you have special conditions that says that you need to do fewer problems, you're going to do always the adaptive practice. Okay? Now, the nice thing about this, and I want to do this one since this is most of us, but even if you're doing the Savvy one, you're going to click on that one. You don't have to do this one. Same for you guys that are normal kids. You don't have to do this one. You're always going to do this one. But you'll see both of these. That's very important. This isn't going to say 100 points on both of these. It's going to end up saying 10 points because homework is where you make mistakes and things like that. And so we're going to figure this out once kids start submitting it and how it goes to the grade book. We got to work this out a little bit. So we need some data before we can do that. So you're going to click on this guy. We're going to do the one that most kids have. And so what's going to happen is it's going to open this up. And this is why we kind of are a little concerned about doing it in class, because if 26 kids every period are logging in, it usually takes a little while, and you know how computers are when the whole school is using it. All right, so here we go. We're going to hit start. Now, a couple things about this is, here we are. I hope you have your notes out right beside you here, because that's your textbook, that you don't have to go get more help down here. But sometimes maybe our notes aren't doing anything and we need some more help. And so they said identify each expression as a rational or an irrational. Now we have two math problems here, an A and a B. So if I added these two guys together, right now they're just saying I only want to know one category, whether it's going to be a rational and irrational. And here's that rule: sum of a rational number and a rational number. What is it going to be? Rational number. Okay. Now I want to put in final check here, and they'll tell me well done or not correct. And so you have another attempt if it's not correct, but if it's incorrect, read the notes. Okay. This is what's exciting about this one. Now, a lot of kids would say, you know what, that's an irrational number because I see the square root sign there. But what is the square root of 4? Isn't it 2? So I do 2 times 2/5, which is a rational number, and a rational number. And so it should be a rational number, but I'm going to pretend that you saw the square root, and I want to say irrational number. It's the wrong answer, probably. Ah, there it is. You answered irrational. The correct answer is a rational number because the product of two rational numbers is always rational. Notice that 4 appears to be irrational. See, just like I was saying. So you can say, let's try again. Boom. They switched the problem around though now. Okay, I think. So we have to start from the beginning here. So sum of two numbers, we know that one's a rational number. They didn't switch the problem. Sometimes they do. Final check. Okay. Now, we know the product, that's really 2 times 2/5, which I know is now going to be a rational number. Final check. Bam, well done. So, we're going to go to the next question. Okay, so let's see, there's 25 questions, and we're on the next question. Now, if you wanted more practice because you're saying, well, I just faked it, I just did what they told me to do, you can say, try again. Sometimes you need more problems. So let's just kind of see what happens here. What happened here? Oh, they didn't answer. So there I have a rational number and a rational number. I think they're different numbers, but they look the same. I done it earlier, and sometimes they mix these guys up. So there's a rational number, because that's really 2. So it looks like, in this case, they gave me the same problem again. Okay, let's go to the next question. All right. The product of two irrational numbers is always irrational. Explain. Now, no, an irrational square root multiplied by itself is the product of a rational number. So if I had the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is what I'm thinking. No, an example would be square root of 4, but that's not an irrational number. Square root of 144 is really 12. Square root of 64 is really 8. So that's not a good answer. And let's see what this one is. Yes, the product of two irrational numbers is always irrational, just as the product of two rational numbers is always a rational number. Let's pick that one and just see how we are. I'm pretty sure that's the right answer, but let's just check. Oh, I missed it. I really knew it wasn't that one. But that's probably what you were thinking. All right, so let's look. You answered yes. The product of two irrational numbers is always an irrational number, just as the product of two rational numbers. The correct answer is no. An irrational square root multiplied by itself will make a perfect square. So if I said square root of 7 times the square root of 7, well, 7 times 7 is 49. That's a perfect square, which is 7. So, I get it now. When Fisher said square root of 3 times square root of 3, that would be over here, square root of 9, and the square root of 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Well, let's see what the square root of 9 is. It's a perfect square. It's 3. All right, so okay, so we say okay. So there's the answer. Now, I think they're going to switch this on us here. It might be the same thing. Oh, I see they mixed up the answers here. So yes, we know it's not that guy. So let's do this. Oh, that's incorrect. No, an irrational square root might produce a rational. I wasn't thinking. Because that's the answer I picked last time. And I knew it wasn't that one. So try again. Let's get this. Let's get it right. Is a rational number. Nope, you're yelling at me. That's not it. We'll produce a rational number. There's the answer we want. All right, so now we got it right. Now, we can always use this down here, get more help. Now we can go right to the textbook sometimes, and you'll see this. Let's see what happens here. I haven't done this one yet. So there's the lesson that would be in your textbook, and kind of like our notes. So you can do that one, I guess. But if you lost your notes or forgot them at school, let's see what else we got here. Math tools, I think that's just when we have like algebra tiles, or we have to graph something on a number line, so that's not going to help us. But what you're going to see is, you're going to see down here some other options. Okay, now let's go explore the review progress. When I do this, it tells me which ones I answered. So before I submit, I want to make sure that all the questions are answered. Okay, now let's just do one more thing. So I don't want to submit yet. Let's see, how do I get back? Oh, I can pick any question I want. So you're going to go through all 25 of these questions, okay? Well, I'm going to look for something that gives me a little bit more options down here and get more help. Because I seen it when we did our training here. Might not on the first lesson have other options, but they have other options like you can watch a video. Let's see if this one does. Ah, here it is. So let's go watch the video here. So let's look at this question real quick. Tell whether the set of sets is the number below belongs to natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, or real numbers. So the number is 21. They said select all that it applies. Now, if you remember back to yesterday, we said all numbers are real numbers. So if I want to look for that, bam, there it is. I accidentally already clicked on it. So sometimes they'll give real numbers as possible answers. Sometimes they'll say, you know what, everybody knows every number is a real number, so let's just eliminate that pop. So now I'm thinking 21 is at the very top, so I like to go in order. So that would be a natural number. Underneath the natural number is the whole number. Underneath the whole number is integers, and underneath the integers is my rational numbers. Okay? Irrationals, remember, is like pi, square root of 3, square root of 7, those kinds of things. Okay? Now, if I couldn't remember that, if I go under and get more help, let's see what the video looks like here. I don't know if my volume's up or not. We talked about that yesterday. But they can't be like 3333333. Man, she's got a lot of that. Square root of 4, well, 2 times 2 is 4, so it's a perfect square. Wow, now that one's really not going to be super helpful because she just told me what an irrational number is, and that's it. So let's go up and see. It's not really going to help me with all those categories, so that's why your notes are super important. For some reason, if you forgot your notes, we could go back to our textbook. It goes right to the lesson that we were talking about. I want to make it bigger here somehow. And we could say, oh yeah, I remember that chart. There it is. 21, I think, was a number, so it starts here as a natural number, it goes to a whole number, it goes to an integer, it goes to a rational number, and all numbers are real numbers. So you could do that and say, you know what, it's all those guys. All right, so, bam, got it. Check your answer. Excellent, got it right. All right, I think you kind of get the idea that you have some tools down here to pay attention to. All right, so let's do this one real quick. Select all numbers where 0 is an element. Okay, so we got to think about 0. Is 0, do they have real number on here? Yep, right there. So all numbers are real numbers. So where does 0 fall? What's the first category it falls in? Right, it's a whole number. Not natural, because naturals are counting numbers like in kindergarten, 1, 2, 3. It's not a natural number, it's not an irrational number, but it is an integer, and it is also a rational number. All right, so Fisher's doing good here. So you keep doing this until you get to the end, and we'll just keep on going, or you could go to review progress. And you can close out of this, like we're going to start it in school today, and if well, I think you'll finish all 25 questions. When you're all done with all 25, you're going to hit submit. But once you hit submit, you can't go back and change your answers. Now, it is our hope that when you hit submit, it's going to give you a grade, and it's going to go right into Infinite Campus. So you can immediately see how that affected your grade. Okay, especially that's going to be important when you do quizzes and tests. You're going to put the quiz, you're going to say hit submit, and boom. You don't have to wait until the next day, or if it's a test, you have to wait until Fisher grades it 2 days later and gets it back to you. You'll know immediately how you did. Now, we're also told on your homework, because homework's where you're going to make mistakes. Your job is to learn the material, so you're going to make mistakes. And so you're able to redo the assignment to get a better score, okay? And you probably want to do that before the quizzes and the tests comes along. Now, even though we're allowed to repeat tests, you have to show that you've done better on your homework. So we're going to ask you that you go back and have no missing assignments. Sometimes you just get busy and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'll take the 0. I hope not. But lives get busy sometimes in high school, and so you have to make decisions. Maybe you had football practice and you just couldn't get that assignment done because you had a paper that you had to write, and you're up till midnight, and you just say, you know what, the paper's due tomorrow. It's like a test. Fisher's homework is only worth 10 points. I'll make it up and do a late one or something like that, and then figure that out, okay? And I'm not sure now that I think about how we're going to do late assignments. So this is all a learning thing for my first year here and your first year in this textbook. But let me tell you this. Be thankful that we're not using the Eureka Math. They even redid the Eureka Math because kids and parents were having such a hard time, teachers with it. So we're very thankful, and we're very thankful that our principal is letting us print off the papers that you can have notes that you can use right there versus using the online textbook. All right, well, that's going to be it for this video. Do your first assignment, submit it, and that's all you have today. No homework other than do this in class, and let's see how you did. All right, have a good day. I got to figure out how to stop this guy. There we go.